Hello there, my lovely Legionnaires. I wish that this was something a little more fun, but the first few commentary videos back aren't gonna be the best. However, I've given our resident lizard enough time to set the record straight, but I guess a Lily's Garden video is more important than correcting a mistake about my character. I'd like to say I'm disappointed, but in order for that to be true, I'd have to be surprised. Spotcher decided to take a shot at me in his video, My Former Community is Falling Apart, and I wanted to address it. Namely, his issue was with the tone I took in my video, Junkie Lied to Everyone. I can already hear you asking, but Hiten, that video's a whole 8 months old. Why are you only now talking about it? Well, a couple of reasons. One, my life doesn't revolve around people on the internet. In that time, I've moved house twice, once being cross-country, been on 2 pre-planned trips, and went to the first con I've been able to attend since the Backstreet Boys reunion tour has been ravaging our nation. Those things were more important than some gecko trying to tell me to mind my manners. The other was that a few friends asked me to hold off for a bit since they thought he'd have the common sense once confronted to actually correct the record. However, that hasn't happened, so here we are. We're gonna start by talking about the segment of the video that Spotcher uploaded, and then we're gonna get to the messmate after.
It'll be $400 for this little sadomasochism session. I hope you're prepared to pay the fucking piper.
As you know,
You wonder why people are trying to ruin one another in this community. It's because of this mindset that anger and wrath wins. Oh boy, you lied to people. To the gulag you go! Forget the good you did for people. Forget the fact that you basically built the foundation of my channel and helped me get on my feet, junkie. You lied about people, and someone decided to out you for it. It's time to crucify you and make you walk on eggshells.
My brother in Christ, I would like you to direct me to the place where I asked for literally anything from you, where I asked you to make a statement, or for you to disown him, or for anything. I'd like you to point to the line in my video where I besought the almighty Spotcher theory for his blessing to smite the fiend dragon. I couldn't give 2/5 of a shit what you do with the information I gave you. You could shove it up your fat ass for all I care. I wanted people to know what happened to me, and for them to interact with Junkie knowing that this was a pattern he was capable of. But I guess we're just gonna admit our biases up front, huh? Really? That's a spectacular look for you, my man. I know that I can just throw my entire section in the bin immediately, since you've already let me know that my mental health and career was worth less than yours. Poggers, love to know where we stand. We love a forward king. Finally, I hope you like hearing a man tone police an AFAB about experiences that affected her, because hoo boy, you're gonna get a lot of this video.
I mean, look at the video calling him out.
I don't want your disingenuous, half-hearted, slimy, bitch boy apology.
That's no way to treat people on a platform. Even if they've angered you, that aggression only serves to progress the issue. The amount of stress that you're putting on yourself by basically forcing yourself to get involved with that much wrath is not worth the outcome.
God, I'm so glad that psychology degree is coming in clutch for me, big man. I really do. Maybe I should consider switching providers. You have a lot of fucking nerve telling people how they're allowed to feel and react to something that ruined their life. Or is it just different when you do it?
Let me put things into perspective for you. This community is a fucking hellhole. It always has been. The creators that were part of it and grew out of it and climbed out of it are shunning it and burning it to the ground, me included.
Listen, I'm not saying you're not allowed to be angry. Fuck, I'm not saying that this video was unjustified. You are, though. You're saying that a victim has no right to take an aggressive, angry tone with someone who hurt them. Rules for thee and not for me? Great. And also, don't you fucking dare tell me what's right for me. What makes me feel better? What's going to help my pain? I've been holding on to that anger in secrecy for years for people like you, people he was friends with who didn't know the damage he caused. I let that anger out because it absolutely made me feel better. I didn't have to listen to people speak about him like he was an authority to be trusted anymore. I didn't have to warn people in their DMs who worked with him that he was gonna throw them under the bus for the slightest misstep. I was finally free. You, a fucking outsider who knew jack and shit, does not get to choose the tone I take with people who hurt me, just as I don't get to do that for you.
It's one thing when you cover a situation that's so far alienated from your personal life. It's another to cover shit that deals with your personal life. It's another to air your dirty laundry to an audience in a format that comes off uncalculated and disorganized.
Uncalculated and disorganized. I sat on this script for weeks. I had it checked. I had it double-checked. I made sure that everything I needed was there. That's leaving out the years I said on the information at all. The only thing I didn't do was reopen my DMs with the scaly lizard fucker who hurt me because I didn't want to see his face again. Shut the fuck up. Good God. Also, are you seriously going to look me in my eyes and tell me it's better for someone who's a third party, totally removed, to come at a situation in anger than it is for the victim of the situation? You are literally telling victims that the people who commentate on their pain are more justified to anger than they are. Holy shit. How the fuck has only Linlin commentated on this video? This is peak victim blaming and tone policing. His own fucking snout. How did you not see this?
But I'm certainly not on Junkie's side here. Forget the good you did for people. Forget the fact that you basically built the foundation of my channel and helped me get on my feet, Junkie. You lied about people, and someone decided to out you for it. It's time to crucify you and make you walk on eggshells.
Sure. Totally not on Junkie's side.
Junkie's being outed by a small handful of creators, notably Jar, Hiten, Mind Your Business, and a few other people that have had experiences with the guy. Basically, he told a bunch of mini white lies about people, something like he gave people permission to share certain DMs in a video, and then immediately lied about it when it got him in trouble, basically throwing someone else under the bus.
You may remember that the thing the CC got on me for during that debacle was leaking private DMs between him and Fran. I was a backstabber, duplicitous, untrustworthy. Did none of you think about how I got those screenshots? He gave them to me. I found out where all of these assumptions were coming from. Junkie had been actively lying to people and telling them that he had no idea I would use his screenshots. This low-life cherry gecko had thrown me under the axle at the slightest sign of danger. Wow, that was fucking quick. Yeah, let's play the whole clip, huh? I'm gonna speed it up, it's a little long. You may remember that the thing the CC got on me for during that debacle was leaking private DMs between him and Fran. I was a backstabber, duplicitous, untrustworthy. Did none of you think about how I got those screenshots? Did you think I hacked him and took them myself? No, he gave them to me. I asked him if I could use them, and he said yes. I sent him my script. I published my video. So I started getting attacked from all sides by friends, colleagues, and a particular rat bitch. I had no idea why people were just assuming that I had done something considered so horrible and taboo when they were close enough to me to know that I'd never share something said in confidence, and that I'd never had a track record of doing it beforehand. It made me wildly paranoid that the people in my life thought I was so awful, and that they were more okay with the idea that I had taken someone's personal testimony without their consent than with just asking me if that was true. It ruined a lot of my friendships. One in particular, it took 3 years of processing to heal. It started the rat bitch saga, which lost me more friends. I'm not going to talk about that today. It caused me to be isolated and targeted by a whole community of people I thought cared about me. I lost it a little. I'm not ashamed to admit, my parents talked about me going onto the ward. I never did, thank God, but shit did get dark. And I had no idea at the time why. And then Gwiss came around. When Gwiss's video about this came out, I found out where all of these assumptions were coming from. Junkie had been actively lying to people and telling them that he had no idea I would use his screenshots. This low-life cherry gecko had thrown me under the axle at the slightest sign of danger. I was furious. I sent screenshots of our DMs to a couple of friends. I told anyone who would listen. I talked constantly about the fact that he was full of shit. And then he changed his fucking story. Now, he'd agreed to let me use the screenshots, but he didn't know what for, despite the fact that I'd immediately followed his confirmation by sending him my script. Yeah, this was one of the parts that actively fucking floored me. I cannot believe that you would actually cut out the context of what happened to make Junkie seem less harmful. This is fucking vile. It wasn't a mini white lie. It was an intentional and repeated deceit to keep his image clean when he was just as in it as the rest of us, and it's fucked that you would try to paint it as otherwise.
Oh man, someone showed you saying something in a private setting? God forbid, damn. Own yourself, dude. Own what you are and who you are. If DMs are ugly, address it. Don't go pointing fingers at the whistleblowers for bringing attention to it. It's apparent that you've hurt people. A lot of people. And guess what? I have too. In fact, I still haven't been able to rectify that with everybody. Hell, I'm still afraid to because of what they tried to do to me.
God, this is just more fucking excuse making. Jesus. Listen, you can't make an excuse for Junkie's behavior and then immediately backpedal with, but I'm not on his side, guys. Yeah, you are. And it's fucking sad to see because genuinely, I and a lot of people thought you were better than this.
It's disgusting the way you play.
They can't recognize a good argument over their own blasphemous emotions of rage because someone they dislike manages to do something that upsets them. It's repeat after repeat. It's the shit Kai did before he fucking decided to become an advocate for domestic violence. It's the shit Junkie supposedly does.
Supposedly? You showed my video and Jar's in this video. You recommended people watch Jar's video. There's no fucking supposedly about it, Spoctor. You saw it, you heard it, you put parts of it in your video. Not on Junkie's side, though. No, I'm not gonna talk about the rest of this video. It's not what I want to get at. It's not the issues I have. The whole thing is material, to be completely honest, considering it's just as uncalculated and disorganized as he claims my video is, since it devolves into a whole different topic halfway through. No, we're gonna move on for now.
You come into my DM, ask for my time, tell me.
So the video came out, naturally I had some things to say at the time. I left a comment saying, quote, "I'm so glad that having my whole life ruined by Junkie isn't a good enough reason to out him. Thanks, Spoctor. That wasn't one of the hardest things I've ever done. I didn't sit on this information for years out of fear of him ruining more of my friendships. I'm glad you really have the confidence to come out here and fucking tone police me after years of fear and paranoia. Get bent." A comment that he never responded to, by the way. Now, a conversation got had in Ponder Sprocket's Discord server with him and our resident lore master, Aaron Tempest. Aaron took a lot of the same issues I did and wanted to get Spoctor's thoughts on it. Also, preemptively, I did get permission to share these screenshots from Ponder herself, so all of you who are going to try and use this as an argument, you can shut up. The conversation goes as such.
So I got around to watching the video last night, and I'm not pleased with the section related to Junkie. Specifically, I don't like how you framed Heaton's video regarding Junkie. Now, I am aware that you don't know what happens in our neck of the woods, so I won't blame you for not knowing what happened. When Heaton's second video on Fran came out, a couple of now former commentators took issue with Heaton's tone and the fact that she was using Junkie's screenshots because it wasn't clear if Heaton got permission to use them or not. Now, as we know, Junkie did give Hiten permission to use those screenshots, so instead of just telling the truth, Junkie said that he didn't give permission, leading to a months-long drama where a couple of well-respected commentators publicly called out and cut ties with Hiten for something she didn't even do. One of those commentators was even given info from Junkie directly to use in their video against Hiten. It wasn't just that Junkie told little white lies to people about the screenshots as you implied. He actively gave people ammo to use against Hiten because he felt threatened when he realistically shouldn't have been. No one took issue with Junkie's behavior in the screenshots because, as I noted at the time, they were the exact same screenshots you used in your video on Fran, which came out on the same day, and no one even complained or noticed. And, to add insult to injury, while Junkie was very quick to issue a public apology during the Yo-Yo 3639 drama, for things he didn't need to apologize for, he, to this day, has refused to publicly acknowledge or apologize to Hiten. Now, I know you didn't have ill intent with this, but presenting Heaton's video as you did came off as tone policing, if not dismissive, because not only did you not know or present the full scope of the situation, but you didn't even finish the first clip you played where Hiten didn't want an apology, because she would go on to say that all she wanted was accountability. Sorry for the long post, and I hope I didn't come off as too aggressive here. I just had to get this off my chest.
Interesting. That is something I didn't know actually about the screenshots. I still feel like the aggression within the video is quite brash. It's something I'm quite actively against when it comes to approaching situations. My focus on that clip was the visceral insults that Hiten threw, not the context within those insults, aka bitch boy apology. I understand why it was like that, but it's never served me any good in the long run personally. At least publicly. Haha. Thanks for the input though. I honestly don't hate Hiten or anything. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that specific mindset.
I'm glad you clarified your position. The situation with Hiten and Junkie is a lot more complicated than it appears to be, and from what I'm seeing, people have tried to downplay what happened between them in earnest. Personally, after watching the fallout of Junkie's lies play out in real time, I don't blame Hiten for the insults, especially when he refused to correct his mistake for a good 3 years now. But we can agree to disagree on that front. While we're here, I wanted to bring up when you said you might have deserved what Pentagrid and Stories did to you. I highly disagree. You might have deserved to be called out for what you actually did, but no one deserves to be falsely accused, especially not in the way they did it.
Thank you, huh? Means a lot. Weird to dip back into this side of things.
No kidding. It was a dark time for a lot of people, and Junkie was only the tip of the iceberg.
Jeez, I hadn't realized.
There was a lot of backstabbing involved during that, and no one wanted to make it public in fear that the situation would get worse. I don't even fully know the details. I believe Hiten was the first to come public about parts of the whole thing, but there are still things that she kept private for the sake of other parties. To be clear, I don't fault you for not knowing. I don't even have all the details, and I was watching the whole thing go down closely. However, outside parties have come out of the woodwork to make assumptions about the whole thing and get onto Heaton's case for overreacting, which ironically is what started the entire drama in the first place. You might want to make like a pinned comment about this or reach out to Hiten directly to clear the air if possible.
Okay, I'll make my own comment here. Cause I agree, I really don't want Hiten to be a focus point. You're watching the video, it's actually pretty clear I didn't focus on Junkie as much as I thought I did.
Very well. Could you join me in Talktopus's for the moment?
Sure.
So let's take that apart, shall we? First, you didn't know about the screenshots. Actively untrue. You cut that section out of my video. Were you hitting your snipping tool with your window muted? I don't buy that for a goddamn second. You did hear it. You either just didn't believe me, or you're lying to Aaron. The second part is something I suspect, but we'll get to that later. Next, I don't give a cancerous, rodents-left nutsack about how it served you in the past. Big shock. I'm not you. The video that started this mess and got me big was me defending you from Fran using the exact same tone I used on Junkie. My Legionnaires have said multiple times they like my more harsh, aggressive tone. Could it be that the plush mittens you and yours use with situations like this is grating and pathetic? Maybe. Maybe I'm just actually funny. God forbid I say mean words about someone who tried to ruin my fucking life. Get the fuck out of here. So finally, we have a call that was done with our dear Aaron Tempest, Mi Corazon Dio, and God above all to June. This was recorded with his knowledge and consent, but I want to talk about this mess too. It's also the main meat of this video. I've only cut out a few things because it's relevant to another situation, and a few things I'm going to trim here and there considering there's just sort of small talk. However, there will be a link to the full thing in the description, so if you want to listen to it, you can. The only things I'll have cut out of the full version, and I will notate when things have been cut, are either things that have been in regards to a situation we've already resolved and is not relevant, or a situation that I'm going to cover in the coming months.
Tell me to come into your little call and amuse your viewers as if I'm some tool to be made use of.
Alright, this was telling me you guys had some stuff you wanted to fill me in on. I might do a little follow-up video on my, not most video, but the video before that.
Yeah. Because the three of us have been kind of like following, because I did the fallout essentially of Heaton's video. So for our purposes, would it be okay if we had this call recorded? So we can have a record. All right. Because there are a couple of things that I need to ask you about actually.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first of all, you're familiar with Yo-Yo 3639, right?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. They made a comment. They made like an art drama rant. It was primarily like they left, and they left the community. Basically, they targeted specifically Junkie, Phagos, and you.
Yes. Okay.
So there's one thing I need to ask. Just for my personal record, did Yo-Yo ever apologize to you about that video?
Let me see their channel. Let me look at who that is.
You're not gonna around? Yeah, they rebranded.
What was the video about?
Basically, I can link it to you so you can. This is a Reupload, by the way.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I know. I do remember this. No, I don't believe I was ever really in contact with the individual prior or after that point.
Okay.
No, I never received an apology, but I'm not too pressed about it.
We'll go back to that then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, the fallout between Hiten and Junkie was impacted a lot more than just those two. There was a giant like community-wide schism that formed after that, and it took like 2 years to properly resolve.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still dealing with certain factions.
Oh my lord, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it was very imperative that you understand when you
I think I've seen that video. Yes.
Mm-hmm. You have to understand when you go into a topic, you really need to make sure that you like talk to people before you go head first.
I mean, I see your point.
Because I know I know, like, you could have asked, like, Doodle about it. You could have asked Steve directly beforehand too. Especially considering the fact that, like, you know, like you kind of singled her out a bit.
Okay.
Especially with the context. I mentioned that the way that you presented the video, right? He kind of just ignores the context of what the situation is and more focusing on the tone. And I mentioned
Yeah,
that
that was kind of the point of the criticism, yeah. But that wasn't I wasn't trying to like make a big deal out of it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
How the fuck were you not making a big deal about it if the main point of your criticism of me was my tone? You had a whole fucking song and dance about how you were so upset I'd be mean online, and then you double down on it in the comment that you put in your response, and in your fucking piss poor clarification that we'll see later.
Yeah, but intents and actualities are two different things.
Yeah.
So we mentioned, we talked about the comment that showed up on Heaton's video, stuff like that. I believe we mentioned, like, I believe we talked about the white lies thing.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of people talk about that. But what's your input on that?
So
I don't think you've spoken to me on it.
The white is like when you commented like these are white lies, like, or like you should know full well it's like how fast a white lie can turn into something really big. For example, the reason why I asked you about the Yo-Yo 3639 video was because without this video, Pentagon and Stories' accusations, which came later, wouldn't have had much ground to stand on. Because at the end of this video, Yo-Yo was like, "Oh, isn't it interesting that Spoctor is underage and very open about that fact, and yet still requests lewd images of his characters?" Which then one thing led to another, and well, you know how the story goes.
Well, I mean that's fair of her to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a valid criticism on their part, in my opinion. It just happened to butterfly effect into something worse. I wouldn't put all the blame on Yo-Yo for that. I shouldn't have been doing that as a minor, so I don't see an issue with that.
True. However, the context of which that she had the screenshots, and it was the context which, for the record, you did specify you didn't want any not safe for work content on it.
Yeah, no, I did.
So taking that out of context, to present that as it did, though it makes like there might have been a fair intent. What actually came up as a result of that was something far. Because I gotta specify, I'm not against calling people out or having their actions like being held accountable. But when we're dealing with very serious allegations, accuracy is very important. You don't want to crucify someone for something they didn't do, which is why we're having this dialogue right now. So we want to make sure.
What does Yo-Yo have to do with that?
You see, when after
at least.
No, it was just an example because I know that
like the point you're making is that no matter the intention, the ends are ultimately the deciding factor of what you did being a bad thing, in which I would entirely disagree.
That's fair. We can agree to disagree on that point.
I believe intent is very important.
Spoctor, that's not how this works. You don't get to say that the impact is mitigated by intent. Intent informs impact. It doesn't change it. It doesn't matter why you said what you did. It doesn't matter why you thought it was an okay thing for you to do. I don't give a shit if it was some pathetic attempt to seem neutral in this instance, or if you actually had bad intentions. You told me I was not entitled to be angry at someone who fucked up my life and relationships because of your moral code, not mine. Fuck off with this condescending attitude you have. Jesus!
Because it felt...
if I could. In this case, just jumping back to the white lies part, in this case, Junkie's intent is kind of really clear on that front. His intent was he thought that he would receive heat.
Yeah, he was throwing Hiten under the bus, and that's something I did state in the video.
And I would also like to reaffirm definition-wise, it wouldn't be considered a white lie because there was that intent behind it. Because
hang on, now you're making me look up the definition. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, harmless. Oh, wait, hang on. I used the wrong word there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Like I could see from an outsider perspective, like in actuality, if we like divorce it.
I thought
from
white lies was the
picture.
opposite.
No.
Oh no, I'm just stupid. What the fuck? Hang on. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, white lies would not be the right word to use. My bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. I figured because a lot of.
I thought white lies meant the opposite. Maybe we'll say black lies. How about that?
Stick to a regular lie.
Just a regular
Yeah,
lie.
it's just a lie. It was just a lie. It was a lie. I mean, that's kind of the main thing I was trying to say. I guess white lies would not have been the proper word to use. I didn't even realize when I put it in the script. I thought white lies meant something else. It goes to show how good I know the English language sometimes.
And
You're
even
American,
then,
it's fine.
So there's two options here, both of them pretty bad. Either you used a term you didn't know the definition of, which I don't buy considering how ubiquitous the term white lies are, or you're lying to my friends' faces. Now, I said before that I was more in line to believe the latter, considering, well, it's not what you said in the video, is it?
Basically, he told a bunch of mini white lies about people.
So you're really gonna claim that you thought it meant a big lie when you called them mini in your video? Mini big lies? Did you think no one was gonna notice that?
That became another thing that kind of painted a bias against Hiten.
It's disgusting the way you play.
It was, yeah, I did something wrong, but I still don't like you. So I'm just gonna apologize to the person that I do like.
Oh, okay. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a big messy situation. Like, I'm not gonna say, like, in terms of what happened to Hiten, in terms of what happened to Hiten in that situation, Junkie basically gave people who were specifically seeking to get Hiten for whatever reason they can't a loaded gun to do so. And I wouldn't be surprised if Junkie didn't know that, but in that carelessness, those lies became amplified. I should make the addendum that Susie was not one of those people. At that time, she thought she was doing what she thought was right. It just happened to be Susie in our community has the biggest platform, and is therefore one of the more respected members of our community. They patched things up, though.
That's good.
Susie and Hiten are
weird.
great now.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around why. Why would Junkie want to do that?
Well,
I get the whole like, oh, I'm covering my ass thing, which is already like in and of itself kind of shitty, but I don't understand the whole...
This is a quick post point, because I didn't even notice this my first go around, but it's really odd that he keeps insinuating, like, why did Junkie do this? Well, there had to have been more of a reason. Because, to me, it reads as this quiet, tacit insinuation that I must have done something to start it, because why would he do it? Why would he do these things? Was he doing it just to get out from under the bus? Well, that's not sufficient enough reason. Something else must have motivated him. And aside from me, I don't know what else that could have been. So this weird recurring tone makes me really uncomfortable. I know, isn't it funny? So the way he talks makes me really uncomfortable. Throughout this whole ordeal, there's this weird vibe I get from Spoctor that just feels really off. And I'll admit, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But ironically, I have a little bit of an issue with his tone. The weird way that he laughs when people try and explain how serious the situation is, I don't know. It's the kind of shit that makes me raise my hackles. You can take this part or leave it, but I felt like it was wrong for me to not address it.
Why would he give the information to people?
Yeah, that's information that I was not relayed. I did not know that when I was going into my video initially.
And I had no idea at the time why. And then Gwis came around. When Gwis's video about this came out, I found out where all of these assumptions were coming from. Junkie had been actively lying to people and telling them that he had no idea I would use his screenshots. This is unbelievable. Who decided this guy's opinions were gonna get a pedestal? I mean, much like a real lizard, he really does just drop his tail the moment he gets confronted. I'm just important it, I didn't know. Yeah, you're a moron, alright?
I thought it was a mostly backhand behind the scenes type thing.
It's so back that we're not even sure why he did it, because this behavior is different from his public one. For example, we have like on the initial video that started this whole thing, the second Fran video that Hiten did, we do have a screenshot of Junkie like commenting all she had to do, referring to Fran, was make a genuine apology, implying support. So let me link that.
Nope.
It's in.
I'm just gonna save most of the things you guys send me because it'd be easier.
Yeah. So him going behind Heaton's back and doing all this, because it should stand to reason that at the time, Gwis and the other individuals were considered like high, they were well regarded for their content. So their words had a lot of weight. So when one of them voiced a negative concern for the video, I assume that's why Junkie started doing all of this. But
so kind of like
I don't have
like a give me goodie points.
A little. I'm not sure if
Okay,
it's
well,
goody
I think
It's
points.
more, I think more he might have been worried that it would have come to him because even before Junkie said anything, they assumed that Hiten leaked private information.
Okay.
So all Junkie had to do was say, "No, I gave you permission to clear that up." And it's not like Junkie had any. Is like if Junkie didn't behave out of turn in the DMs themselves, as you know, you have those.
Yeah. So I don't know where they are anymore, but I could probably go to my video and find them. It's been a while. My memory's foggy on that.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And especially considering
that's weird.
Mm-hmm. So we have those. And the initial negative comment was deleted because shortly after Gwissman disappeared, the other individuals started cleaning up their part in all of this. So we don't have any. It's like
the most we have is admittance. However, we can't give you that admittance because it would potentially
It's disgusting the way you play.
Okay.
like I'm sure there's stuff that happened in the community you used to be in that I have no idea about because they all happened behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah, like the fucking. I mean, I mentioned a few of them broadly in my video. The whole like Phagos Discord raids. Those were interesting.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This weird cavalier attitude about serious situations that really affected people makes me just viscerally uncomfortable. It really sits under my skin wrong. You know, it's just because you were real passionate about how bad it was on camera. You talked about how deeply damaging Phagos' actions were, but then behind the scenes you're like, oh, it was so interesting, he-ho. You know, it just leaves a weird taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
All the Discord shit.
So
there's a lot that goes on.
And if we need to talk about that, we'll be sure to ask you about it. Because, you know, common courtesy and all that good stuff. We're probably not going to, for the record.
You're probably not going to.
I'm pretty
probably
sure
might not even
that's
provide that much info, because even then I wouldn't have much for you. It's in the past. I'm not too pressed about it, and I don't have anything anymore.
But, you know, common courtesy and all that. The last thing you want to do is, like, just go in head first and be caught with your pants down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You guys are a little more meticulous about it than I am at times.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Our community runs on just like your point is wrong and this is why it's wrong, so we have to be we have to cover our bases as much as possible.
I've been there, I remember.
Yeah, I was going to do the same with Yo-Yo's video because there was like I caught there were screenshots taken out of context. There was just like some of the evidence that was shown was completely omitted from the pub. Like nobody could have validated it. Like the screenshot they showed for you, for example, there was no context, there was no indication that anyone else knew, especially when the accusation was you were open, very much so, about you being public. So shortly you would have gotten more evidence than a DM conversation that nobody else would have. You know, it's things like these. They don't seem like big deals at first, but there's like the more holes that start to form, or things that don't add up, it can completely warp an audience's perception of what actually happened.
I'm very aware of that. Yeah.
Well, evidently not, considering the circumstances. God, it's so irritating to hear Aaron try and get something through to him, and then just have it ping off his skull like a marble. You know how bad information can spread? Yeah, I bet you do. So why are you spreading it? Why are you going into a situation that, giving you the benefit of the doubt, you ran into half-cocked? You fucked this whole thing up, and now you're just gonna sit here with your condescending little chuckles like you're not kickstarting the same shit, except for me this time. God, you're gross.
Okay.
So,
I kind of see what you're getting at. I kind of yeah.
So,
I'm a big thinker. Sorry if I don't speak too much.
That's
I'm more of a sit back, listen, take it in kind of guy.
It's a lot to take in general, anyway. So.
Yeah. It's like
you're hearing this all like after the fact. We me and Aaron dealt with it in real time.
I was watching. I watched. There were. It's like the community was. I mentioned the community was practically on fire at that point, and like people were taking sides. People were. It's like, man, people. It's like people cried after all of this. Man, it was just nasty.
For me, I was put in this weird middle because I was friends with both groups. it was one of those situations where I had to just watch people I liked a lot and cared about just tear each other apart. It was the community was on fire, so it's a very generous way to say.
It always is. I'm coming to realize.
Yeah, once
it always has been.
Once all of this gets resolved, it's going to be a huge weight lifted off of everyone's shoulders. We're trying to take care of it as tactfully as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I find it fascinating that it dates so far back.
Fascinating. One of the worst times in my life is fascinating to you. You know, I'd be angrier if the pseudo-intellectual posturing didn't just remind me of college film all over again. It's fucking nasty.
Yeah. There's
a lot more going on than I realized. Well, I never really fully dipped my foot in. I had my knees in there, I'd say, but I was still kind of always on the edge of things, and I think that's how I was able to transition out of it so easily.
Okay, so then why are you talking about it? If you admit by the words out of your own mouth that you didn't know how deep it went, then what on earth possessed you to make such a definitive statement about it? Because it involved someone you liked? Someone who you admitted made you money? This is exhausting.
But, damn. I still kind of dabble in it, obviously.
But you're not fully versed in all
No,
that.
I wasn't as I was before. We'll see. Is there anything in regards to like my video that you think
I think
needs to be re-looked over? I'd say.
A part of a thing that I kind of disagree. I'm about to paraphrase your video. I'm sorry. I don't like doing that. But there's a part when you showed the clip of Heaton's video where she said she didn't want Junkie's apology.
Yeah.
In a way, only Heaton can say it.
Your slutty boy apology.
Yeah. What can I say? I love her. But like you saw contention, I saw hot. But whatever.
To each their own.
To each their own. I mean, I like the Amazon. What can I say? I think a point where I saw people like taking it in a way where it closed Junkie out from being able to come back and speak on the situation, which I inherently don't agree with, because in the video after the bitch boy apology thing, he states specifically that she just wants him to take accountability, just to publicly admit what he did. Because by this point, because it's another thing that's spurned from it.
That's the thing. That's the thing about like what is it? The structure of it, that the message got conveyed that wasn't entirely what I was trying to convey. I was mostly like I said, focused on like the vitriol tone that Heaton was using. I'm very against that type of aggression when it comes to content creation, and I voiced that in other videos myself. And honestly, just extending that clip wouldn't have changed anything that I had to say, because I was mostly focusing on the insults more than anything.
You have to clarify that because the way when you said it, it sounded like it was all encompassing.
Okay. No, yeah, I see what you mean. I made the script and I said it in a way that I thought made sense, and obviously you read something different from it, and if that's the case, obviously other people might as well.
And it really is bad, huh? I didn't mean it that way, but you read it a different way, and so other people might read it another way too. Yeah, you never once said anything about my insults? Not once. You just played the time I called Junkie a bitch boy, and that was it. You didn't say anything about it. You said my anger was unwarranted, that it made my video feel unfocused and disorganized. You said my hostility was not valid, but hostility from people who weren't involved was. You absolutely wanted to downplay what I had to say, because I wasn't the meek, crying victim that you wanted me to be.
Because I mentioned in one of my paragraphs. Sorry about that, by the way. It was just a lot of information to convey.
Hello, welcome to.
No, you're right.
Yeah, it's like typically I don't like long posting, but like with this I have to. Because I mentioned that there are a bunch of people who are already one of the reasons why the Fran video was starting to get attention was because of the tone. That's one of the reasons why the former individuals group didn't like the video and used the out of context screenshot as a ways of, making sure that it was just tone policing. You know what I'm saying? So to see the entire situation repeat like that, it's
in my opinion, tone is pretty important when it comes to conveying.
That is true. That is true in some circumstances. We have but just addressing the tone in and of itself is not a proper refutation of someone's point.
Especially since in like this regard, it's caused people to shift. And I know one could argue that, well, she should have, if she didn't use that tone, it wouldn't happen. But people are starting to shift after your video, and people are starting to shift the attention away from the fact Junkie did something to how Heaton's talking, which in itself is a problem, because it's shifting the situation from this person did something wrong to this victim isn't behaving in a certain way for us to take it. because he, in all intents and purposes, is a victim of the situation.
Right, I don't mean to laugh. It's like something similar to what Aaron said the other day.
We do share it. We do share a brain cell.
With the fucking no, like the what was it? How did you say it? This victim is
It's
not...
like it becomes less of the perpetrator as being held accountable and more like the victim should be a better victim.
Yeah, that's what you said. A victim should be a better victim. Yeah, that one kind of like threw me out of whack. I was like, damn, okay.
Because like it's not
sound really bad.
Yep. Yeah, no, yuck it up. It's great for you to say that the means of how I talk about the person who hurt me invalidates my pain, and when my friend tells you that people are now actively trying to downplay and discredit what happened to me because I didn't behave exactly the way they wanted me to too, you just laugh at him. Hey, you know why? It's because it is bad, you fucking gecko. Literally, your whole thesis point to my video was that because I wasn't behaving the way you wanted, my words should not be listened to or held with the correct regard. Where the fuck do you get off laughing and deflecting from the harm that you caused? What the actual fuck is wrong with you?
It's not something that you inherently think of, but it's something that you have to be considerate of when you're talking about somebody who is effectively opening up and talking about a very emotionally vulnerable time in their life.
Yeah, I think the issue is with the disconnect I have with this community mostly. Like, I've been through something similar through this community, and I look back down at this community and I see it as just a bunch of pointless war zones. So when jumping into this video, I kind of ran into it a little pig-headed as like everything's just stupid. So I didn't really think too much.
I think another thing.
And you know, for someone who doesn't want to be our fucking scapegoat, your words, you sure do like to use what happened to you to deflect whatever you did to me. Yeah, it's not an excuse for you to act like this was nothing more than a pointless battle. Those war zones may be pointless to you, but for people bleeding, suffering, and getting genuinely wounded on those hills, they hurt just like your old scars do. It's good to know that because someone was callous to your pain once, it's now okay for you to be callous of theirs.
I'm not specifically singling you out. I see this as a commonplace for a lot of people. No, because what do you mean? A lot of people, because when like Aaron and I talk about our community, when we reference Hiten and things going up in flames, we're specifically talking about the slideshow commentary community, which is like in itself a very niche community. Like we do have people like Ponder, who's now seen more in like different circles or as part of different things, and we do have Susie, who's gained like a notoriety. But when you like get outside of, like those two individuals, it's people like me, Aaron, Hiten, and like a bunch of other people you've probably like never heard of. So when Hiten talks about like her career being like destroyed and people who she looked up to like losing respect for her, she's talking about like a group of people that she became like friends with and like grew close to, because it's small. Like 50% of our community, not even 50, like 99% of our community is in a single server. Like we can fit in a single server, everybody could talk in that. We can all be in like a voice call, and it wouldn't get that out of whack so long as nobody's talking over each other.
Yeah, okay.
It's small enough that if somebody new came in, we'd like immediately know.
Yeah.
We just figured out someone new came in too.
Because that's the thing, because people like see us and like they might think of like the art commentary community, or they might think of like art ranting or drama, but most of the times there are times when we do talk about drama. Most of the time we talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
So when Hiten was like mentioning that like she lost friends, she was more talking about people like Boon Slayer more than Savdraws, if you catch my drift.
She's talking about like Susie more, or me. Well, she didn't lose me, but you got an idea more than I don't know, like the Axolotl guy or you.
Axolotl.
That guy. Ponder and Susie did serve as our like bridging between your communities, but outside of that, Ponder especially, outside of that, we're very divorced from each other.
In fact, like one of the few times we overlapped was during your situation. A lot of us were trying to figure out, what the heck is going on here, because it was our turn to be outsiders looking in. So we
only really knew about it because of people like Ponder. Because Ponder really did serve as that like bridging, because Ponder is very art heavy, so she's able to look at that stuff in a way that we wouldn't have been able to.
This is a little bit separate than what I've. Okay. Junkie's also a bridge, I think I've noticed.
Yeah, and like we met Junkie coincidentally through Ponder.
I've been grouping all of you guys together.
Yeah.
So
it's like, it happens a lot because we're very, very niche, and a lot of times we don't say the full phrase slideshow commentary community.
And other people like to throw in their own terms and mix it and make it confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's EOCC, Alt CC.
The Alt CC, if you want to get really technical.
The people that use the dog and robot avatar.
The whole freaking construction of the communities in itself could be a fucking video.
Yeah, at this point it doesn't shock me that Spoctor was so up his own ass he didn't even think that there were communities other than his own. Forget that he didn't know who I was, and he'd never been in my circles, and he didn't know what was going on, and this was his first experience with the drama, and he didn't know half the people involved up until this point. No, just, God, ignorance isn't an excuse.
Yeah,
that's why
that might actually be a fascinating one.
I made a video on a former member. I guess it would be of your community. I don't really know them that well. Their name is Box and Box.
I'm familiar with the name. I've never really spoken to them.
They were speaking to Hiten about the situation coincidentally, doing if you feel bad, don't worry. They did infinitely worse. They full on just blamed Hiten for everything.
I don't feel like I've done wrong. I just feel like I went in a little insensitive, and it's on me.
And I'll straight from his own snout, I don't think I did wrong. No wonder the latter statement felt so hollow. The rest of the call is formalities, so we're just gonna cut it short here. Like I said, there's a full version of the call with only some private info removed in the description if you want all of the context. I cut a bunch of it because it's like 40 minutes long.
Do you take Arby's gift cards?
Fucking die!
Here we are after all of this. You heard it himself, Spocker said he'd issue a retraction. What did he do? He pinned a comment.
Hey guys, to be clear about the whole junkie situation, there's a lot of stuff not mentioned in this video because it's only recently come to my attention. And in that, Hiten isn't the bad person when it comes to their video. I agree, it's over-aggressive and that's by my own standpoint, but I wouldn't advocate running to their channel to lambast them for it. Rewatching the video, it's apparent I didn't put enough focus on Junkie's faults despite when scripting it, I felt like I had. Hiten is, in this case, a victim to this community as well. A follow-up might be worked on depending on how things continue to progress.
So, he lies again about not knowing the context, he doubles down on his statement that I took the wrong tone, and implies he didn't even see me as a victim. Great. Glad to know that Lily's Garden ads in a FurCon video were more important than you giving that victim a voice. So where are we now? Well, we sit in a distinctly unenviable place. I'm unsurprised by it, honestly. Spocker's always been two-faced, and he's never been known for proper insight or well-thought-out content. It seems like he always goes in emotion first and brainwaves third, but laying out this in front of me, it seems like nothing but malice. It's a man looking for an out for someone that he should have cut the line on a long time ago, but given his parallels to Junkie, it doesn't surprise me. For someone who just fucking hates his old community so fucking much, you know, you don't have a problem dipping your claws into the water when it suits you. Creepshow art drama, Jelly Bean, talking about the community's politics, drama coverage, another video about Birdie. You know, Spocker, you're not special or above us because you've been participating in the same shit that we all do. You're not some wizened war vet. You're a guy at the bar who's saying he could have played college ball if he hadn't joined the Navy. I'm so sick of your pretentious swatting performances around the community like you're better than us when you're not. And I'm tired of you pretending that you're a better person when it's not looking like that's true either. I stated what I wanted out of the situation with Junkie clear as crystal, and you turned it opaque, so I'll tell you what I want out of you. I don't want your disingenuous, slimy bitch boy apology either, Spock. The only time I want to hear your voice in my direction again is for you to post that follow-up and not a syllable more. Your line of communication to the person you hurt is cut. You can fix it and that'll be the end. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of having people who hurt me have the last word, though, so here I am. Good night, farewell, go fuck yourself, goodbye.